Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Good morning. My name is Judge Tony Gonzalez. Today's date is April 22nd, 2024. We're here for an arraignment docket, uh, which means that you're here for the first time to answer to your violation. Okay. Um, so I'm going to kind of let you know some things about the court, and then I'm going to let you know kind of what the procedure is that we're going to follow here today. Um, every case that is heard in this court is a Class C misdemeanor. You have the right to have a jury determine your guilt or innocence. You can uh, waive your right to a trial by jury, and you can have a trial before the court, which is me. The fines in this court normally do not exceed $500. You have the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will not be appointed to you because there is no chance of jail time in these cases. But an attorney can help you understand the law, can help you understand procedure, and can help you make decisions regarding your case. If you choose to go forward without a lawyer, I have no choice but to hold you to the same standard as if you were an attorney. You also have the Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. You do not have to testify in your case against yourself. It's the state's burden to prove their case against you beyond a reasonable doubt. As you sit there today, you are innocent until proven guilty. Okay. Very important. Okay. That's a very important right that we have. I want to make sure everybody understands it. Just because you've been charged or you've been cited with a citation doesn't mean you're guilty. The state still has to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay. Um, so the way this is going to work here today, here in a little bit, I'm going to call the docket. When I call your case, I'm going to ask you to unmute your device and raise your right hand, and I'm going to swear you in. And then I'm going to ask you how. I'm going to read you your charge, and I'm going to ask you how do you plead. You're going to have three choices. You can plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest. A plea of guilty and a plea of no contest are basically the same thing, in that I'm going to find you guilty and move on to the punishment portion of the case. The only difference is that when you plead no contest, what you're telling the court is that you're not contesting the matter. You're not saying you did it. You're not saying you didn't do it. You're just not contesting it. But what you are telling the court is that there's enough evidence before the court at this time to substantiate a finding of guilt. Uh, so that's important to know. The other difference is that with a pleading of no contest, if somebody wants to try to use your plea in this court as evidence in a higher court or in a civil court, a plea of no contest will not be allowed. A plea of guilty may be allowed. So those are the differences. So if you enter either of those two pleas, then the court will go to the punishment portion of the case. When I say punishment, that's where I'm going to decide, what we're going to do. There's a number of things I can do. I can straight up issue a conviction, order fine and court cost. I can place you on what's called deferred disposition, which is a type of probation where you don't report to a probation officer, but if you do what I ask you to do and you pay what I ask you to pay in the time that I ask you to do it in, the case gets dismissed and it should not affect your insurance. Um, in some cases, if you qualify, I may offer the driving safety course. Um, uh, in other cases, my hands are tied. There's some types of cases, such as people who hold CDL licenses, where there's not much I can do. If you enter a plea of guilty or no contest, all I can do is order a fine and court costs and issue a conviction. Okay. If you enter a plea of not guilty, then the case is going to be set for a pretrial. Uh, at that pretrial, uh, the attorney representing the state of Texas will be present if you want to speak to him. In our court, the name of that individual is Epi Sasi. He will be available. Normally, we do those on Zoom, and you'll have an opportunity to meet with him if you so choose. I'll put y'all in a private breakout room where you'll be able to talk to him regarding your case. The prosecuting attorney who is the individual who brings the case on behalf of the state of Texas. So he's the one that can do a number of things. He has the ability to negotiate a plea bargain agreement. He has the ability to recommend dismissal of a case if he believes that it's warranted. The point being is, if you speak to the prosecutor there's a chance you may get your case resolved. It doesn't hurt your case because you always have the option to go to trial. If you're unable to resolve your case at that time, then your case will be set for trial, and it's going to be your choice whether that's in front of a jury or in front of the judge. Okay. Um, so any questions at this time? All right. I'm going to ask everyone, if you're able to do it, do it. If you're unable to do it, I will do it when I call your case. But if you look at the screen, everybody has a screen name. Mine says Judge Antonio Gonzalez. It's easier for me to go through the docket if you change your name to your legal name. If you don't know how to do it, don't worry about it. When I call your name, just unmute your device. I will change it for you at that time. Okay. Some housekeeping before I go any further. It's important that you know that there are consequences beyond this courtroom on certain cases. For instance, if you're charged with not having insurance, a plea of guilty and no contest and a final conviction could result in surcharges from the state of Texas. That is something I have no control over. If you have a question whether your particular charge may have a consequence beyond this courtroom, I strongly suggest you consult an attorney. If you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest and a final conviction could affect your status in the United States. If you find yourself in this situation, I strongly suggest you consult an attorney. Finally, if I order a fine and court costs and you are unable to meet that financial obligation, there is an application that you fill out. My clerks have it. You fill it out, and then I will have what's called an indigency hearing to determine if you qualify to do something other than having to pay the fine and court costs. There's a number of things I can do, from placing you on an extended payment plan to having you do community service in lieu of the fine and court cost, or a combination of those things. The point being is, just because you're not able to financially pay for something, there are other ways so that you can be in compliance, and warrants don't have to be issued, and licenses don't have to be put on hold. Okay. That being said, it's important to note that everything is being recorded right now. As we sit here, this is a court of record. So right now, we're recording this, and it's being broadcast live on the court's YouTube channel. Okay. All right. Once again, any questions? All right, then I'm going to go ahead and call the docket. Court calls cause number 2403-000-263, State of Texas versus Luisa Bosques. Luisa Bosques. Court calls cause number 2403-000-259, John Castillo. John Castillo.
Present, sir.
Okay, Mr. Castillo, hold up real quick. I'm going to go ahead and change your screen name. Okay, Mr. Castillo, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can put your hand down. You are John Castillo, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Castillo, you are charged with the offense of assault by contact family violence. That is alleged to have occurred on or about March 10th, 2024 in Robstown, Nueces County, Texas, where you are accused of pushing Jasmine Valdez on the chest. Are you aware of that charge?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Castillo, I am required by law to read the following admonishment with cases involving family violence. So it's important that you listen. If you are convicted of a misdemeanor offense involving violence where you are or were a spouse, intimate partner, parent, or guardian of the victim, or are or were involved in another similar relationship with the victim, it may be unlawful for you to possess or purchase a firearm, including a handgun or long gun, or ammunition pursuant to federal law under 18 U.S.C. Section 922G9 or Section 46.04B of the Texas Penal Code. If you have any questions whether these laws make it illegal for you to possess or purchase a firearm, you should consult an attorney. Okay, Mr. Castillo, as to the charge of assault family violence alleged to have occurred on or about March 10th, 2024 in Robstown, Nueces County, Texas. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
The court will accept your plea of not guilty. Mr. Castillo, if you have to have a trial on this matter, do you want it in front of a judge or in front of a jury?
Judge.
Mr. Castillo, are you still at 403 North First Street, number 7?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Castillo, it's important, and this is for everyone here today. It's important that you come by the Robstown Municipal Court today before 5 o'clock, no later than tomorrow at 5 o'clock, to sign off on your plea of not guilty. Anyone who doesn't come in to sign off on their paperwork, it's as if you didn't even show up here today. Okay, because I've had that happen many times before. We show up, we do this, then you don't show up to sign off on your paperwork, or if you're from out of town or you don't have a way to get to municipal court, you can call the court and make arrangements for them to email you the proper paperwork and get it back to them. That way, a warrant for your arrest isn't issued. Okay,
I
so
got
it's
a
important
question.
that we make arrangements for that. Yes, sir, Mr. Castillo.
Are you right here at City Hall or where are you at?
Yes, sir. We're at City Hall. You can come into
Okay.
City Hall.
All
Okay.
right.
All right, Mr. Castillo, you have any questions?
Can I go in like right now after this is over to sign the paperwork, or do you want me to give you a little
I'd
bit?
say give us about an hour, okay?
Okay, yes, sir.
All right,
All right.
Mr. Castillo,
Thank you,
you're
sir.
excused.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day, sir.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Court calls cause number 2403-000255, State of Texas versus Ernesto Contreras. Ernesto Contreras. Court calls cause number 2403-000261, State of Texas versus Kenneth Carl Cotton. Okay, they sent in a notice. Is that correct, Crystal?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. Court calls number 2403-000135 and 2403-000136. State of Texas versus Luis Garcia Jr. Luis Garcia Jr. I see you, Mr. Garcia. Let me go ahead and rename you. Mr. Garcia, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, you can put your hand down. You are Luis Garcia Jr.?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, you are charged with 2 offenses. The first being failure to maintain financial responsibility. And the second being driving in a vehicle with an open container. Both of these are alleged to have occurred on March 12th, 2024, Robstown, Nueces County, Texas. Are you aware of those charges?
Yes.
And you understand them?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, we're going to go one by one. On cause number 2403-00135, failing to maintain financial responsibility. As to that charge, how do you plead?
No contest.
And on cause number 2403-0000136, the open container charge, how do you plead?
Well, it wasn't my container, it was somebody else's, but I got charged with it. So no contest.
The court will accept your plea of no contest on both charges. Have you gotten insurance now, Mr. Garcia?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and place you on deferred disposition, 90 days on both these charges. I'll tell you what that means here in a minute. On the failure to maintain financial responsibility, it's going to be a fine of $265, cost of $81, for a total of $346. On, okay, I'll deal with him on that in a little bit. On the open container, it's going to be, I'm going to lower the fine cost on that, Mr. Garcia, from $209.90 to $109.90. The cost of $76. Um, so the total on that's going to be $185.90. So, Mr. Garcia, you owe $346 on one charge, $185.90 on the other. When can you pay this?
Well, within the 90 days of the what do you call it, deferred
Okay, because you have another case here I'm going to get to as soon as we're done with these two, where I'm granting you an extension, or you're asking for an extension of the deferral period, and you haven't made any payments on that.
No, I did. I have a receipt for it and everything. But at the time they told me that they weren't gonna do anything for me, so I just said I'll pay what I can when I can.
Well, I need to know you're going to pay these within 90 days. You're going to pay them within 90 days, Mr. Garcia?
Well, I'm making the other person that had the open container pay the open
Well,
container charge, and I'll pay the other one.
well, that's I don't, it's not my business where you get your money from, but the charge is for you, and I just need to know that you're going to pay them within the 90 days, okay?
Okay.
I'll do 90 days to pay. All right, and as far as, let me go ahead and call cause number 23020000659 and 22070046061. These are a couple of charges where I placed you on deferred disposition. Your 90 days expired on March 6th. I can extend you on that, Mr. Garcia. That way you still have the benefit of getting dismissals. But the furthest I can extend you is June 4th, 2024. But I'm I'm gonna extend you to, can you get this right here paid by May 4th?
Which one?
The old one, the public intoxication and the failure to appear,
By what date?
May 4th.
Yeah, I could do that.
All right. I'll give you until May 4th on those. That way you pay it by then, you still get the benefit of the deferred disposition.
All right.
All right, Mr. Garcia, I just need you to come by the Rouseau Municipal Court by 5 o'clock today, or no later than 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. You are excused.
All right. Thank you.
Court calls cause number 24030000253, State of Texas versus David Hernandez. David Hernandez. Court calls cause number 24030000258, State of Texas versus Timothy Holden.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and change your name on your device. Okay, Mr. Holden, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are Timothy Holden?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Holden, you are charged with the offense of assault by contact family violence alleged to have occurred on or about March 17th, 2024 in Robson, Nueces County, Texas, where you are accused of grabbing the face and ear area of Veronica Gutierrez Chavarria. Are you aware of that charge?
I am aware of it.
And do you understand it?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Holden. As to the charge of assault family violence, you know what, before I ask you for your plea, I'm required by law, just like the other gentleman, I've got to read you this admonishment. If you are convicted of a misdemeanor offense involving violence where you are or were a spouse, intimate partner, parent, or guardian of the victim, or are or were involved in another similar relationship with the victim, it may be unlawful for you to possess or purchase a firearm, including a handgun or long gun or ammunition pursuant to federal law under 18 U.S.C. Section 922 G9 or Section 46.04B of the Texas Penal Code. If you have any questions whether these laws make it illegal for you to possess or purchase a firearm, you should consult an attorney. Okay, Mr. Holden. As to the charge of assault family violence alleged to have occurred on or about March 17, 2024 in Robstown, Nueces County, Texas. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
The court will accept your plea of not guilty. Mr. Holden, if you have to have a trial on this matter, do you want it in front of the judge or in front of the jury?
In front of a judge.
And Mr. Holden, are you still at 4105 Ramsey Street in Corpus Christi, Texas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Holden, then you just need to either come by the Robstown Municipal Court by 5 o'clock today, no later than 5 o'clock tomorrow, or call the court and make arrangements to have your paperwork sent to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any questions?
No, sir.
You are excused. Court calls cause number 24030000335, State of Texas versus Stephen Key. Stephen Key. Stephen Key. Court calls cause number 24030000260, Bruce Pacheco. Bruce Pacheco. Bruce Pacheco. Court calls cause number 24030000254, Rudy Perez. Rudy Perez. 24030000262, Ashley Rios. Ashley Rios.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Ms. Rios, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Rios, you are charged with the offense of assault by threat. Alleged to have occurred on or about March 8th, 2024 in Robstown, Nueces County, Texas, where you know, Crystal, this this complaint's all messed up. They put the name of the defendant where the person who she's accused of threatening should be. And I know who that person is, but I'm not at liberty to make that change on my own. So I'm going to read who she's accused of threatening by way of this complaint. So Ms. Rios, I'm going to read the complaint to you, okay? That way it's on the record. It says, I, Rosalinda Lira, the undersigned affiant, do solemnly swear that I have good reason to believe and do believe that Ashley Rios, hereafter called defendant, on or about the 8th day of March 2024, before the making and filing of this complaint in the territorial limits of the city of Robstown, county of Nueces, and the state of Texas, the defendant did then and there intentionally or knowingly threaten another, namely Ashley Rios, with imminent bodily injury by threatening to wait for Lida outside due to her having to leave sometime. And it's signed by Rosalinda Lira. So that's what the complaint says, Ms. Rios, just so you know. You're accused under this complaint of threatening yourself. As to the charge of assault by threat alleged to have occurred on or about March 8, 2024 in Robstown, Nueces County, Texas, as to that charge, how do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
That's what I thought you were going to plead. The court will accept your plea of not guilty. Ms. Rios, do you want to have, if you have to have a trial on this matter, do you want it in front of a judge or in front of a jury?
With the judge, Your Honor.
And Ms. Rios, are you still at 313 East Avenue E?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Rios, so long as you make it by the Robstown Municipal Court no later than 5 today, latest 5 tomorrow, and sign off on your paperwork, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. I just have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
When I get there to sign my paperwork, is that when I would be speaking to the prosecutor, or would they be getting in contact with me?
No, the court will be sending you another notice by mail. It'll have a time and date, and the Zoom information, just like this did. And the prosecutor will be in this type of environment to speak to you, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Court calls number 2403-000257, Jacqueline Torres. Court calls number 2403-000256, Joey Valdez. Joey Valdez. Court calls number 2302-001743, Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia. Garcia. Court calls number 2403-000234, Ryan Sanchez. Ryan Sanchez. Court calls number 2403-000199, Dylan Cerda.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, can you please raise your right hand? Both of y'all, please. Hold on real quick. Crystal, do we have the parent obligation form?
Judge, he's a minor.
I know. He's a minor, right? How old are you, Dylan?
17.
Oh, you're 17. He's 17. No, no, he's 17. Okay, Mr. Cerda, once again, please raise your right hand. And it just has to be Mr. Cerda, Mom.
Okay.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. You are Dylan Cerda, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Cerda, you are charged with the offense of possession of a tobacco product by a minor. This is alleged to have occurred on or about March 19, 2024 in Robson, Nueces County, Texas. Are you aware of this charge?
Yes.
Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as to the charge of possession of tobacco product by a minor alleged to have occurred on or about March 19, 2024 in Robson, Nueces County, Texas. As to that charge, how do you plead?
No contest.
Court will accept your plea of no contest. Mr. Cerda, they say that they found 5 vape pens in your possession. What kind of pens were those?
Just nicotine.
Okay. Technically, they could have filed 5 different counts. Okay, they just charged you with one. So, that was something that you should be thankful for. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't know if you're still using these vape pens or not. I have very strong feelings about the whole nicotine vaping issue. It's an epidemic that's going on right now with our youth. I have experienced it personally. I have a son who's now 22 who started vaping when he was a freshman at Calallen High School, and he suffered a collapsed lung this past summer at the age of 21. And the only explanation that the doctor could give us was that more than likely it was due to the vaping. There's not enough information out there to determine what the long-term effects of this is going to be, but I can guarantee you it's not going to be good. We don't know what other chemicals are in there. I have a feeling that this generation of youth are going to be suffering from issues regarding this as they get older. I know my son is suffering that. I can tell you this, he hasn't picked up a vape pen since this happened to him. It was the most excruciating, painful experience he says he's ever had. They had to stick a tube between his ribs to let air out of his lungs because the lung gets displaced because the pockets of air around the lung start to burst. So they have to let the air out, and they stick a tube between your ribs. And I had to see him in the ER room when they did this. And I had not seen him cry since he was a little boy. And he cried. And it broke my heart. And these things are bad. I'm just telling you right now. And it's that nicotine, it's addicting. My son's still addicted to nicotine. He's just moved on from one thing to something else, which I still don't think is good, but I think is better than the vape that he's doing. But he's working through his issue. But you're still young. You know, you can get rid of this habit. It's not good. It's not cool. And I tell you what, when you're crying like a baby in an ER room, you're definitely not looking cool to anybody. So anyway, everybody that comes in my courtroom that's charged with vaping, I tell them that story because, I think it's important for people to know that this is bad, and I know it's hard. And I know it's hard for you and it's not something that I'm sure you want to be doing, but you got to work with it. You have your mom there sitting next to you. I see her nodding. You know, you got to use your support group around you to help you kick these things, okay? You're young. You can do it. I know you can do it. So that's my 2 cents right there, Mr. Cerda. I'm going to accept your plea of no contest. I'm going to place you on 90 days deferred disposition. It's going to be a fine of $235, cost of $76 for a total of $311. Crystal, do we have the information for the vaping class or the tobacco?
We have the tobacco. I don't know if there's a difference between that one and the vaping, Judge. I'll have to look into that.
Well, if there's a vaping one, I want him to do that class.
Okay,
If not, then
Okay.
he does the tobacco class, okay?
okay, sounds good.
I'm gonna have you do a tobacco awareness course or / vaping awareness course online. You get that, are you in school right now?
Mhm.
Where do you go to school?
Okay.
Banquete? Uh, so your mom's not the one who put those vape pens in your possession. So unless you have $311 just hanging around that you want to come and drop off at this court, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do community service in lieu of the $311. Is that something you want to do, or you just want to pay the $311?
Community service.
It's going to be 13 hours community service. And that can be done. At any nonprofit type organization. That includes if you're involved with your church, you can do it there. If you're involved with the scouts, you know, the food bank, but basically I'll accept anything so long as it's not for a private organization.
Okay.
If there's stuff you can do around the school, you can do it there. As a matter of fact, you can check with my clerks. We always need stuff done here at the court. If you want to come in and do filing and do stuff here, we can have you work it off here too, okay? But I'll allow you to do that, okay? Any questions, Mom?
No.
Okay. Dylan, you have any questions?
No, sir.
Do you play sports?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter if you don't play sports. You still don't be doing that vape, okay? All right, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna go ahead and excuse y'all. Make sure you come by the Rossville Municipal Court before 5 o'clock today or at the latest tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it, right, Crystal?
Yes, Judge, that was the last person.
Okay, let me go ahead and end this.